It's 3 a.m. and I'm hunched over a half-broken drone in the robotics lab, the only place that still feels like mine. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead like angry wasps, casting harsh shadows across circuit boards and scattered tools. My marriage died tonight, officially, though it's been rotting for months, like roadkill in summer heat. Chelsea's phone lit up again 20 minutes ago. Boss, at 2:57 a.m., just business, my ass. I'm Kenneth Sterling, 34 years old, and I teach high school kids how to build robots that work better than my relationship ever did. My wife, soon to be ex-wife, is Chelsea Young, ambitious marketing executive who's decided I'm not worth the designer shoes Grant Maxwell bought her last week. Our apartment looks like a crime scene, half-packed boxes everywhere, her stuff mysteriously multiplying while mine shrinks into corners. She's been leaving receipts around like trophies. $400 dinners, $200 bottles of wine, a Rolex that costs more than I make in 3 months, all courtesy of Grant Maxwell, venture capitalist extraordinaire and professional homewrecker. The city outside buzzes with late-night energy, but our place feels like a morgue. I've been the walking dead for weeks, watching my wife transform into someone I don't recognize. Someone who looks at me like I'm a stain on her designer couch. I scroll through months of their text messages on her laptop. She never bothered changing the password. Working late again tonight. Grant needs me for the Peterson presentation. Don't wait up. Each lie perfectly crafted, each excuse more elaborate than the last. The truth hits you like a freight train when you're not expecting it. 2 weeks ago, I followed her to Grant's glass tower downtown, watching through rain-streaked windows as she melted into his arms in the parking garage. 50-something, silver-haired, driving a McLaren that costs more than most people's houses. Everything I'm not. I'm a blue-collar guy who clawed his way through community college to become a teacher. She's marketing lipstick to billionaires. I always felt like her plus one at my own life, but I thought we were building something together. Turns out, she was just waiting for a better offer. Tonight, she didn't even try to hide it anymore. Just get over it, Kenneth, she said, standing in our bedroom doorway like a stranger. Grant is honestly far superior to you in every way that matters. He's successful, sophisticated, ambitious. He gives me things you can't even spell. The words hit like ice water. Not the affair. I'd known about that for weeks. It was the casual cruelty, the way she said it like she was discussing the weather. Superior? I laughed, but it came out bitter. Is that what we're calling adultery now? Don't be dramatic. This isn't some romance novel. This is real life, and in real life, people upgrade. She folded a silk blouse, one I'd never seen before, into her suitcase. I'm 32 years old, Kenneth. I can't waste any more time pretending this is going somewhere. We're married, Chelsea. We took vows. We were kids. I was settling. She zipped the suitcase with finality. Grant understands my potential. He sees what I could become. And what's that? His midlife crisis? Her eyes flashed. His partner, in business and life. He's talking about making me VP of his new marketing division. Real money, Kenneth. Real power. Not this. She gestured around our modest apartment with disgust. This what? This life we built together? What life? You teach children to play with toys while I'm out there making real connections, building a real career. Do you know what it's like introducing you to important people? Watching them lose interest the second you mention robotics class? Each word was a scalpel, precise and devastating. I'd felt small before, but never like this. Never disposable. So that's it? 8 years down the drain because you found someone with a bigger wallet? 8 years of stagnation. 8 years of watching other people pass me by while I played house with someone who's perfectly content being mediocre. She grabbed her keys from the dresser. I'm done apologizing for wanting more. The keys clattered on the kitchen counter like dice. The door slammed. And just like that, Chelsea Young was gone, leaving behind only the faint scent of expensive perfume and the wreckage of everything I thought I knew about my life. I sat in the silence for an hour before anger finally kicked in. Not the hot, explosive kind. The cold, calculating variety that makes you dangerous. She wanted superior? She wanted to see what happened when the nice guy stopped being nice. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the parking garage. Grant Maxwell's building is a monument to everything I'm not. Sleek glass and steel, reaching toward the sky like a middle finger to people like me. The parking garage underneath is a showroom of excess. Porsches, BMWs, and in the corner, Grant's cherry red McLaren gleaming under the security lights. I'd been planning this moment for 2 weeks, ever since I watched Chelsea disappear into his penthouse. My robotics students think I'm just the cool teacher who lets them build battle bots and program drones. They have no idea their mild-mannered instructor has been weaponizing their projects. The security guard was doing his rounds on the 3rd floor. I had maybe 10 minutes before he circled back. I pulled the custom drone from my backpack, sleek black carbon fiber, nearly silent rotors, and a high-definition projector mounted underneath. My kids would be proud of the engineering. The drone hummed to life, rising smoothly to hover 3 feet above the McLaren's windshield. I activated the projector, and crisp white letters appeared on the glass. Homewrecker. Beautiful. I piloted the drone in slow circles around the car, the message rotating from windshield to side windows to rear glass. Then I got creative, projecting a heart with an arrow through it, followed by, "Upgrade this," in flashing letters. That's when the security guard's flashlight beam found me. "Hey, you can't be down here!" I grabbed the drone and ran, sneakers squeaking on polished concrete. The guard was older, overweight, and wearing dress shoes. No match for a guy who runs 5 miles every morning. I made it to the stairwell as his radio crackled to life. "Base, we've got a trespasser in garage level 2. Male, 30s, carrying some kind of device." I took the stairs 3 at a time, bursting onto the street level where one of my students, Marcus, was waiting with his e-scooter like we'd planned. "Mr. Sterling, did it work?" "Like a charm. Now get out of here before they review the security footage." I hopped on the scooter and we zipped into traffic. 2 grown men on a teenage toy, laughing like idiots. For the first time in weeks, I felt alive. The next morning, Chelsea's Instagram exploded with carefully curated photos of her new life. Grant's penthouse, designer shopping bags, champagne glasses clinking against a city skyline backdrop. Each image was a calculated missile aimed at our mutual friends, showing them exactly how much better off she was without me. The comments were brutal. "Living your best life, girl. That view, though. Somebody got an upgrade. Where's Kenneth? Oh, wait." My phone buzzed with a text from her. "Move on, Ken. Don't embarrass yourself further." I stared at the message for a long time, feeling something cold and sharp crystallize in my chest. She thought this was over. She thought she could just walk away, take everything, humiliate me publicly, and I'd slink off into the shadows like a beaten dog. I typed back, "You want to see embarrassing? I'm just getting started." Then I deleted her number and started making a list. Tina Valdez has been my best friend since college, back when we were both broke kids sharing ramen noodles and big dreams. Now she manages O'Malley's bar downtown and moonlights as a tech recruiter, using her psychology degree to read people like open books. When Chelsea left, Tina's couch became my sanctuary. "You look like hell," she said, handing me coffee that could strip paint. "When's the last time you slept?" "Sleep is for people who aren't plotting revenge." "Kenneth." Her voice carried that warning tone I'd heard 1,000 times. "Don't do anything stupid." "Too late. I already married Chelsea." Tina laughed despite herself. "Fair point. But seriously, what's your endgame here? You want her back or you want her gone?" I thought about it while she made breakfast. Actual breakfast. Not the protein bars and spite I'd been living on. I want her to understand what she threw away. I want her to realize that superior isn't always what it looks like on paper. And Grant? Grant's collateral damage. The neighborhood gossip mill was already churning. Mrs. Patterson from 4B cornered me by the mailboxes, her eyes bright with malicious curiosity. "Kenneth, dear, I heard about you and Chelsea. Such a shame. Though between you and me, I always thought she had ideas above her station. That girl was never satisfied with what she had." "Thanks, Mrs. Patterson. I saw the news about that incident at her boyfriend's building. Something about vandalism. The police were asking questions." She leaned closer, stage whispering. Was that you, dear? I smiled innocently. I don't know what you mean. Of course not. She patted my arm conspiratorially. Well, if you ask me, she finally traded up. Did you hear he's worth millions? Each conversation was a fresh humiliation, a reminder that everyone saw me as the loser in this equation. The guy who couldn't keep his wife satisfied. The stepping stone to something better. But my students saw it differently. Monday morning in the robotics lab, I found a handmade card on my desk. Mr. Sterling, you're the coolest teacher ever. Don't let the haters win. Your favorite students. Marcus, the kid who'd helped with the e-scooter escape, approached my desk during lunch. Mr. Sterling, my mom says divorce is hard, but it gets better. She also says your wife was probably crazy to leave you because you're like the best teacher in school. Thanks, Marcus. That means a lot. Also, he lowered his voice, that drone prank was legendary. Tommy's older brother works security downtown, and he said the footage was hilarious. The guy was so confused. Word was spreading. My stock was rising in certain circles, even as it plummeted in others. The kids saw me as a rebel, a teacher who fought back instead of taking it lying down. Their parents, the ones who knew the whole story, were split between sympathy and judgment. The school board meeting was scheduled for Thursday night. Budget discussions, new policies, the usual bureaucratic theater. I'd planned to skip it until I saw Chelsea's name on the agenda. She was listed as a new member of the STEM Initiative Advisory Panel, bringing her private sector expertise to help modernize our technology programs. Grant Maxwell was listed as a community partner and potential major donor. They were colonizing my world, turning my sanctuary into another stage for their public romance. The message was clear. Nowhere was safe from their superiority. Thursday night, I sat in the back row of the school auditorium, watching Chelsea work the room in a designer suit that probably cost more than my monthly salary. She moved through the crowd like a politician, shaking hands, making connections, playing the role of successful community leader. Grant arrived fashionably late, his silver hair perfectly styled, wearing a suit that screamed money. He and Chelsea exchanged a brief kiss that was clearly performed for the audience. Just intimate enough to establish their relationship, just public enough to rub it in my face. Principal Martinez called the meeting to order. Budget reports, policy updates, the usual mind-numbing routine. Then they reached the STEM initiative. We're excited to welcome Chelsea Young to our advisory panel, Martinez announced. Ms. Young brings extensive marketing and business development experience from the private sector. She'll be working closely with our technology programs to identify opportunities for modernization and community partnerships. Polite applause rippled through the audience. Chelsea stood smiling graciously. Thank you, Principal Martinez. I'm thrilled to be here. As someone who understands both the challenges facing public education and the opportunities available in the private sector, I believe we can bridge that gap. My partner, Grant Maxwell, has already expressed interest in potentially funding new equipment and programs. Grant stood, nodding regally. More applause. Of course, Chelsea continued. We'll need to evaluate current programs to ensure we're making the best use of resources. Some of our existing initiatives may be outdated. Her eyes found mine across the room. The message was unmistakable. During the public comment period, I stood up. Every head in the room turned toward me. Chelsea's smile flickered. Kenneth Sterling, I said, walking toward the microphone. I teach robotics and computer science here. I'd like to welcome Ms. Young to our little educational community. Chelsea's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. It's refreshing to see someone with such extensive experience in relationship management joining our team. I'm sure she'll bring valuable insights into how to identify and pursue better opportunities. A few people chuckled, sensing the subtext. Grant's face darkened. I'm particularly interested in her expertise in market positioning and brand management. After all, she's recently demonstrated a remarkable ability to rebrand herself and pursue more lucrative partnerships. The chuckles turned nervous. Principal Martinez shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps she could share some insights on how to evaluate when it's time to abandon existing commitments in favor of more promising ventures. I'm sure our students would benefit from learning about strategic relationship transitions. Mr. Sterling, Martinez interrupted, Please keep your comments focused on educational matters. Oh, but this is educational. Ms. Young has taught us all valuable lessons about ambition, loyalty, and what happens when you mistake superior packaging for superior content. Chelsea stood up, her composure cracking. This is completely inappropriate. You're right, I said, smiling. Inappropriate behavior should definitely be called out in public forums. I'm glad we agree on something. The room erupted in whispers. Grant was on his feet now, his face red with anger. Martinez was banging his gavel, calling for order. I walked back to my seat, feeling lighter than I had in months. Chelsea and Grant left during the next agenda item. Their grand entrance turned into a humiliating retreat. My phone buzzed with a text from Tina. Saw the live stream, you magnificent bastard. Drinks on me tonight. But the real victory came later, when Marcus's mom approached me in the parking lot. Mr. Sterling, I just wanted you to know that was the most honest thing anyone said at a school board meeting in years. My son thinks you're a hero. I'm just a guy who's tired of being walked on, Mrs. Chen. Well, for what it's worth, I think your ex-wife is an idiot. And that boyfriend of hers looks like a used car salesman in an expensive suit. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time since this whole mess started. Maybe I was losing the war, but I just won a battle. And sometimes that's enough to keep you fighting. The boxing gym at 6 a.m. is my church, a temple of sweat, discipline, and honest violence, where pretense gets beaten out of you one punch at a time. I've been coming here since college, back when I was angry at the world, instead of just angry at my wife. The heavy bag doesn't judge, doesn't lie, doesn't leave you for someone with a bigger bank account. I was 3 rounds into my morning routine when they walked in. Grant Maxwell, looking ridiculous in brand new workout gear that still had creases from the packaging. Behind him, 2 guys in expensive tracksuits who screamed private security. The kind of men who solve problems with money first, muscle second. Kenneth Sterling? Grant's voice carried across the gym like he owned the place. We need to talk. I kept hitting the bag. Left hook, right cross, left hook. The rhythm helped me think. I'm busy. This won't take long. He approached with the confidence of a man who'd never been told no by anyone who mattered. I think we got off on the wrong foot. Did we? I thought we got off on the foot where you screwed my wife. His security detail tensed. The other boxers stopped their workouts, sensing drama. Look, I understand you're upset. Divorce is never easy. But what happened at the school board meeting was unprofessional. Chelsea was embarrassed. I stopped hitting the bag and turned to face him. Up close, Grant was smaller than he seemed in photos. Maybe 5 feet 8 inches in expensive shoes, soft around the middle despite the designer gym clothes. Money had bought him a lot of things, but it couldn't buy him presents. Chelsea was embarrassed. Good, she should be. See, that's the problem. Grant stepped closer, his cologne mixing unpleasantly with the gym's honest smell of sweat and leather. You're making this personal when it's just business. Chelsea upgraded. It happens. Smart women recognize opportunity when they see it. And what opportunity is that? Being your midlife crisis? His face flushed. I'm offering you a way out of this with your dignity intact. A clean break. Chelsea doesn't want to hurt you any more than necessary. How generous of her. I'm prepared to make this worth your while. He pulled out a checkbook, an actual checkbook, like some movie villain. What's it going to take? 10,000? 20? The gym went silent. Even the old-timers stopped their workouts to watch. Grant had just made the kind of mistake that rich guys make when they think everything has a price tag. You want to pay me to go away? I want to pay you to stop being a problem. The parking garage stunt, the school board meeting, it's childish. Chelsea's moved on. You should too. I looked around the gym at faces I'd known for years. Blue-collar guys who worked honest jobs and earned every dollar. Men who understood that some things couldn't be bought. You know what your problem is, Grant? Enlighten me. You think everyone's for sale because everyone you've ever met has been for sale. But you're in the wrong neighborhood now. I turned back to the heavy bag. Grant grabbed my shoulder. That was his second mistake. I spun around and shoved him backward. He stumbled, his expensive shoes sliding on the gym's worn floor. His security detail moved forward, but the other boxers moved too, forming a loose circle around us. This was their place, their rules. You want to settle this like men? I asked. Gloves on, 3 rounds, winner takes all? Grant looked around nervously. His security couldn't help him here, not without starting a riot. The gym's unwritten code was sacred. Disputes got settled in the ring, not in parking lots. I'm not going to fight you, Kenneth. That's what children do. Right. Children fight. Adults buy people off. I pulled on my gloves. Come on, Grant. Show Chelsea what a superior man looks like with his hands up. He backed toward the exit, his face red with embarrassment and rage. This isn't over. Yeah, it is. You just don't know it yet. After they left, the gym erupted in approval. Tommy, the old-timer who ran the place, clapped me on the back. That was beautiful, Ken. Guy comes in here waving money around like he owns the world. You showed him what's what. But I knew Grant wasn't done. Men like him didn't accept public humiliation gracefully. They hit back where it hurt most. Your livelihood. I was right. Monday morning, Principal Martinez called me into his office. Kenneth, we need to discuss what happened at the board meeting. And now I'm hearing about some incident at a gym. I defended myself against a bully, Maria. Same thing I'd tell my students to do. That bully is a potential major donor. The school board is asking questions about your judgment. My judgment? What about Chelsea's judgment? She's the one who had an affair and then flaunted it at a public meeting. Martinez sighed. I'm not defending anyone's personal choices, but I am responsible for the school's reputation and funding. Grant Maxwell could transform our technology programs. With what? Dirty money from a man who destroys marriages for fun? With clean money that helps kids get better educations. Sometimes we have to separate personal feelings from professional responsibilities. The message was clear. Play nice or find another job. But I'd already made my choice. Some fights are worth having, even when you can't win them cleanly. That afternoon, I found Marcus and 2 other students in the computer lab after school. Mr. Sterling, we saw the video from the gym. Someone posted it on TikTok and it's going viral. Hashtag underdog wins is trending. I looked at Marcus's phone. Sure enough, grainy footage of Grant's humiliation was spreading across social media. The comments were brutal. Rich guy got owned. Money can't buy courage. Teacher, trust fund baby. That's what happens when you mess with the wrong guy. Chelsea had built her new life on social media, carefully curating an image of success and superiority. But the internet was a double-edged sword, and now it was cutting the other way. My phone buzzed with a text from Tina. Grant's company's in trouble. Financial reporters are sniffing around. Want to grab drinks and discuss phase 2? I looked at my students, bright kids who believed their teacher was a hero instead of a victim. At the viral video that was turning me from a laughingstock into a folk hero. At the text from my best friend who always had a plan. Maybe I was losing my marriage and risking my job. But for the first time since Chelsea walked out, I felt like I was winning something that mattered. The war was just getting started. 3 weeks later, everything changed at the Regional Robotics Championship. My students had been working toward this competition all year, and despite everything happening in my personal life, I wasn't going to let them down. The event was held at the City Convention Center, with teams from 6 states competing for scholarships and bragging rights. What I didn't expect was to find Chelsea and Grant holding court in the VIP section, playing the role of generous benefactors supporting STEM education. Grant had apparently made a last-minute, major donation to secure premium seating and photo opportunities with the winning teams. Look at them, muttered Sarah Chen, one of my brightest students and Marcus's older sister, acting like they built these robots themselves. Our team had drawn a tough bracket, but the kids were ready. Months of after-school work had produced a sleek, efficient machine that could navigate obstacles, manipulate objects, and execute complex programming sequences. More importantly, they'd learned to work together, solve problems under pressure, and never give up when things got difficult. The first 3 rounds went perfectly. Our robot, nicknamed Sterling Silver by the kids, dominated the competition with precision and speed that left other teams scrambling to keep up. By the semifinals, we'd attracted a crowd of admirers and several college recruiters. That's when Grant made his move. During the break between semifinals and finals, he approached our pit area with a local news crew in tow, Chelsea smiling beside him like a proud parent. "Excuse me," he said to the reporter, "I'd like to introduce you to the team I've been sponsoring. These kids represent the future of American innovation." My students looked confused. Marcus raised his hand tentatively. Mr. Maxwell? We've never met you before today." Grant's smile never wavered. "Well, not directly, but my foundation has been supporting your school's technology programs. Without private sector partnerships like mine, programs like this wouldn't exist." It was a masterclass in public relations. Technically true, completely misleading, and perfectly calculated for the cameras. The reporter ate it up, asking Grant about his commitment to education and his investment in young minds. Chelsea stepped forward, playing her part perfectly. Now, as a member of the school's STEM advisory panel, I've been working closely with these students and their teacher. It's so rewarding to see private enterprise and public education working together. The reporter turned to me. "And you must be proud to have such dedicated community partners supporting your program." Every eye in the area was on me. The cameras were rolling. Grant and Chelsea were smiling their perfect smiles, daring me to make a scene that would embarrass my students on their biggest day. I looked at Marcus, at Sarah, at the other kids who'd worked so hard for this moment. They deserved better than having their achievements hijacked by people who'd contributed nothing but money and ego. "Actually," I said, stepping forward, "I think there's been some confusion. Mr. Maxwell's donation came just last week, well after these kids had already qualified for this competition. They built this robot with recycled parts, donated materials, and about 1,000 hours of their own time. The only thing Grant Maxwell sponsored was his own photo opportunity." The reporter's eyebrows went up. This was getting interesting. Grant's composure cracked slightly. "Now, Kenneth, let's not diminish the importance of community support." "You're right," I interrupted. "Community support has been crucial. Mrs. Patterson donated her old computer parts. Tony's Auto Shop gave us scrap metal. O'Malley's Bar held a fundraiser that raised $800 for entry fees and travel expenses. That's community support." I gestured to the robot, where the kids had proudly displayed small stickers acknowledging every person in business that had helped them. "What you're doing is called credit theft. These kids earned their way here through hard work and dedication, not because some rich guy wrote a check for tax purposes." Chelsea tried to salvage the situation. "Kenneth, please don't make this about our personal—" "Personal?" I laughed. "You're the ones who made it personal when you crashed my students' moment for a publicity stunt. These kids have been working toward this competition since September. They don't deserve to have their achievements diminished by people who showed up 5 minutes ago with a checkbook and a camera crew." Sarah Chen stepped forward, all 5 feet of teenage fury. "Mr. Sterling's right. We built sterling silver ourselves. We don't need some random rich guy taking credit for our work." Marcus joined her. "Yeah, and Mr. Sterling taught us everything we know. He stayed after school every day, came in on weekends, even used his own money for parts when we ran out of budget." The other kids rallied around them, a united front of adolescent indignation. The reporter was scribbling notes furiously. This was a much better story than the planned puff piece about corporate generosity. Grant's face was turning red. "This is exactly the kind of unprofessional behavior I was talking about, Kenneth. You're embarrassing yourself and these children. The only thing embarrassing here is watching 2 adults try to steal credit from teenagers who actually earned it." That's when Chelsea snapped. "You're pathetic, Kenneth. This is why I left you. You can't stand seeing successful people succeed. You'd rather tear everyone down to your level than try to build something meaningful." The crowd went silent. Even the kids stopped talking. Chelsea had just revealed the personal drama behind the professional conflict. Live on camera. "Is that what you call this? Success?" I gestured to the cameras, the staged photo op, the manufactured moment. "Because it looks like desperation to me. 2 people so insecure about their relationship that they have to steal accomplishments from children to feel important. We're not stealing anything. We're supporting education. You're supporting your egos. There's a difference. The reporter stepped between us. Perhaps we should focus on the competition. No, Sarah Chen interrupted, her young voice cutting through the tension. I want to say something. She looked directly at the camera. My name is Sarah Chen, and I'm the team captain for Sterling Silver. We've been working on this robot for 8 months. Mr. Sterling taught us programming, engineering, problem solving, and teamwork. He believed in us when nobody else did. We don't need fake sponsors or publicity stunts. We have something better. We have a teacher who actually cares about us, not just about looking good on TV. The other kids applauded. Other teams started applauding. Parents and spectators joined in. Within minutes, the entire pit area was cheering for my students and their unscripted moment of authenticity. Grant and Chelsea retreated. Their carefully planned publicity stunt turned into a public relations disaster. The news crew followed them, asking pointed questions about educational opportunism and manufactured community involvement. 2 hours later, Sterling Silver won the championship. The kids lifted the trophy together, then insisted I join them for the photos. Real photos, taken by proud parents instead of hired cameras. As we packed up our equipment, Tina appeared with a bottle of champagne and a huge grin. Did you see the news? Grant's company just lost its biggest client. Something about concerns over leadership and judgment. Apparently, the video of him getting owned by teenagers didn't inspire confidence in his business acumen. She handed me her phone. The local news story was already going viral. Rich donor tries to steal credit from student champions, gets schooled by teacher and teens. The comments were brutal. These kids are heroes. That teacher deserves a raise. Rich people trying to buy accomplishments they didn't earn. Disgusting. Sterling Silver greater than sterling snobs. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over, Kenneth. You have no idea what you've started. I showed it to Tina. She laughed. Actually, I think he's the one who has no idea what he started. Want to show him what happens when you mess with the wrong teacher? I looked at my students, still celebrating their victory with pure joy and pride. They'd worked for this moment, earned it, deserved it. And nobody, not Grant, not Chelsea, not anyone, was going to take that away from them. What did you have in mind? Phase 3, she said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. Time to show them what real community support looks like.